Hey guys, welcome to the first episode in our Early Age Mekone series. I hope you've watched the National Overview and the Pretender design. I'm on turn 20 in the game, and I've finally gotten motivated to come back and do all the turns. I can't really do the turns one at a time when I'm starting, because I'd have to stitch them together in video editing, and that would, take time and stuff. So I normally like to start at least after like turn 15, once the turns kind of become bigger and I can do them in like groups of 2. Anyway. But, or I can kind of do them as a set. Like I could come, when I'm done with 5, I could come do the first 5. Anyway. You might not care about that, but it's turn 1. And here's the map we're starting on. So this is an AIDS map, which is, I forget what the acronym stands for, but like automated something dominions. That's the A and the D. I'll leave the I and the S to you. What do I think about this starting position, and what do I know? Well, so it's fixed starting position, so we can look who's near us. I think Lanka is down here. Kalem is down here. Who is up here? Marverni is over here, and this is played by Sakane. He's in almost all my games. And then, who do we have? Get my memory jogged here by looking at this. I don't think it's Satis. Maybe Satis has a little bit of a border up here. I think Satis might be northeast of me. And then, oh god, who's... I honestly have I can't remember who's up here. We'll find out as we go through. But in terms of the starting position, I kind of like it. Now, one thing I did to this AIDS map, and I don't think I really mentioned it in the game setup, but I put in more plains. Not farmlands, but plains. So I just tinkered with the settings so that it gives you more plains. Because when I've played on AIDS maps before, the default settings, they give you so much forest and swamp and desert or wasteland and mountain. Like, you can never have 2 plains adjacent to each other. So units that would sometimes be able to move 2 can basically never move 2. You're basically stuck with, at least my feeling was, you're like stuck with map move 1. Like, it would be like, trying to look around. I mean, it feels like it's kind of like the density of this is what other AIDS maps felt like. Like, oh yeah, there's like a couple things, but basically you're going to be moving through swamps and forests and mountains. That's like what a normal AIDS map feels like. So I didn't change it a ton, but I changed it significantly. So there's a fair amount of plains. That was my biggest gripe playing AIDS maps. Like, being map move 1 all the time, it slows the game down too. It just makes the game, and it's kind of annoying. Anyway, I have, at this point when I'm starting the game, I have not tested Mekone a ton. I tested a few expansion strategies briefly, and I was able to get to 20-something provinces. The thing I have found that works best... So here's the thing, like, let's go through real quick the ways you could try to expand. You could try to expand using these guys, and having just like a few good men, like this guy and one of these. The problem is, even though they have really high protection, their defense gets whittled down. They have pretty high encumbrance. They're not going to kill things quick enough. And it's kind of like the random hits they take will kind of overcome their sturdiness before they kill enough things to make them rout. If you had like 4 or 5 of these guys in an expansion party, it could work. But 4 or 5 is like 2 or 3 turns of expansion, especially early when you don't have your cap circle. Conversely, and so generally, building things that take a lot of resources for a scales expansion is a bad idea. So, like, when you're looking at your national troops, usually you want to be looking at things with a low resource cost and being like, oh, these are the things I might want to use during initial expansion. And that leaves us with the Hela Peltast, which is very, very cheap in terms of recruitment points and resources. It's a slave, and we like slaves and dominions. They're very cheap workers because you're basically not paying them wages; you're just feeding them. And yeah, so we're gonna get a shit ton of those. Upkeep is probably one of the most important mechanics in dominions. So slave is a big deal. Okay, so we're just gonna crap them out. Now, why are these good at expanding? Well, they have a spear, which is gonna give you the occasional repel. They have a shitty shield, which is gonna help with archer fire. And they have javelins, and javelins are very good on shitty massable units. Okay, very good. They're pretty good on cheap massable units. And they have some armor, like they're not naked. So that's nice. And then if parry hits, like with their shield, they're gonna be at 18 protection. So, I mean, they'll block some stuff. But if we just have a ridiculous amount of them, we'll be able to expand pretty well. Now, what I'm doing, like this guy's just basically gonna hang out, this guy's gonna become a prophet. We're spending all our gold on pelt tests, right? So these are not necessarily gold cheap. I mean, they're kind of gold cheap, they're 8 gold, but we're spending all our gold on. And so that's the turn. So turn 2, I think we'll do just however many turns we get in to 20 minutes. Okay, so everybody, we have a bunch of Diplo, and I'll be honest, I haven't really read a lot of the Diplo up till turn 20, until now when I'm going back and recording. Because I kind of knew I would have to read for recording, and if it wasn't addressed to me, if it was like a hey everybody message, I really haven't read it till now, so we'll do it. A message from Tiranaag. Come away, O human child, to the waters and the wild, with a fairy hand in hand, for the world's more full of weeping than you can understand. Yeah, I'm not quite sure who those initials are. Is this Civilization 4? No, I think you're in the wrong game, buddy. And then we have a bunch of prophets. We have Karl Marx, the warrior chief. That sounds about right. We have Elon Tusk, the Marverni chieftain. It's pretty funny. We have Principal Vagina. No relation. Oh, okay, I don't know what the last part is. No relation is part of the name. Then we have, we won't route this time, the Rhino Commander. That's funny. It's only like Mekone. It's on like Mekone. The Tribal King. Then we have, he flies the Sastar. That's probably some reference I don't know. I don't know what the Sastar is. I guess it's some spaceship. And then we have Satis, Milcom. And then we have Pangea. I'm like a bird, the black harpy. I'm like a bird. It's actually kind of funny. From Agartha, we have Pastafarian. I guess that means he only eats pasta or worships pasta. Pastafarian. Then Tiranaag, we have William Butler Yeats. Oh, okay, so that's the WBY. So that's the decoding for the poem. Femoria, we have Pepe before the whole racism thing. Then from Vanheim, we have Legolas, tries to get laid the Van Hurst. That's actually kind of funny. And then we have Helheim, Tony Wonder. And then from Niflheim, we have Brit Anand. And then from Rus, we have Drunk Ass Bear, the Scout. And then from Yomi, we have Massahide. I think that's the default name. And then Zabalba, First Witness of the False Sun. From Mekone, we have Priam, so that's me. I didn't rename my guy because I'm a little lame. And then from Pelagia, we have Caister. And there we go. Those are all the things. So we got an unexpected event for 3 air gems, and that's about it. So moving on, what we want to do at the beginning. So Scales expansion, the goal, you have conflicting goals. One is efficient expansion paths. The second goal is clearing your cap circle. Because if you clear your cap circle, then you're not going to have efficient expansion paths. Because basically the first turn, like once you have your cap circle cleared, the first turn often will be spent moving out of your cap circle in the direction you want to expand to, rather than expanding the first turn. So, yeah, what we're more concerned about is losing our first expansion party. So what we're going to try to do is push out this way, but we're kind of going to be going in just the area of least resistance. So I've put all these guys in a group together. I've put these guys behind them. They're going to fire. These guys are going to attack closest. And that's how we're going to do it. This guy is getting one hold command and then attack closest. He's tough enough where I do want him up there fighting. Now, I could get really unlucky. He could get a bad morale hit, or a bad hit and run, and then the battle's over. But these guys are seriously tough. If this guy's getting abused in the presence of all these guys, it's pretty unlikely. We're just going to preach here. He could go help them, but he's not really needed. So we're just going to get our Dominion up a little. But that's basically it. Now I could have gone, if we look what I've got around me, I've got Deer Tribe Warriors here. These are pretty easy. They have decent kind of longbows and stuff. And I think the warriors have javelins, so it's a kind of ranged-oriented tribe. I could be wrong. Heavy cav here. Heavy cav actually causes a ton of problems. The reason is that almost no amount of these peltasts are going to kill them. And these guys are not much better. They have better attack density, so they're a little better at getting through the heavy cav, but... yeah, we struggle. What you want to fight heavy cav is you're going to want a few of your hard-hitting giants in the front line, and the other guys are basically going to tie them up and harass them while your giants kill them. Yeah. So here we got hoplites, ecdromos, and slingers, and I think slingers come with this variety. I don't think this is an elephant province, but if there's elephants here, I could be fucked. Here we've got Deer Tribe again. And then here we've got militia, archers, and heavy infantry. There's a death sight here, too. Yeah, okay. I actually didn't notice that at turn 20. These are the perks of coming back. I don't have... Death is one of the things I'm going to really struggle to get access to. Yeah, with the Pretender we took... yeah, we don't have any death. So, I think I was hoping to get, like, bats or something. I need to do a better job about checking the merc list, because that could be a way to break into death. Like, summon a revenant or something, if I get the death merc, or twice born him. You know, go ahead and steal him like that. Okay, so I think that's it for this turn. Turn 3, we'll see how my expansion goes. Here is the battle. So you can see with Formation Fighter, our guys are pretty dense. Though the lightly armored ones are a little faster, so this is a problem with kind of mixing army types. Okay, and then we have pretty good attack density by the time we actually close, so that actually works pretty well. You can see the Javelin's actually doing a fair amount of work. They're giving me... The Javelins give you a fair amount of attack density. Because, like, you have your front line, and then you have the Javelins coming in at the same time. And then these guys, you can see as they close in melee, they're actually not bad. Because there's just so many of them. But numbers are a big part of this. Like, the fact that we outnumber them is the primary advantage we have. Okay, and yeah, we've caused a rout now. Okay. So we lost 6. That was a little more than I think we might have lost. I think part of it was our formation wasn't great. And I think also I wasn't on attack closest. So the fact that some of my guys kind of ran past here into the back and let these other guys close in with my peltasts mean I lost a lot of them. Like, they got all split up. I should have just been on attack closest. We would have killed them, and then we'd have moved on to kill them. So anyway, we took a little more attrition than I would have liked. We have a message from Ulm. A specter is haunting Black Swan, the specter of utopian socialism. All the powers of Black Swan have entered into a holy alliance to exorcise this specter. Prophets and kings, Elucid and Dartimos, slavers from Cetis, and Russian police spies. Where is the nation in opposition that has not been decried as a utopian by its opponents in power? Where is the opposition that has not hurled back the branding reproach of utopian against the more advanced opposition parties, as well as against its reactionary adversaries? Two things result from this fact. Utopian socialism is... one, utopian socialism is already acknowledged by all Black Swans' powers to be itself a pretender. And two, it's high time that utopias should openly, in the face of the whole world, publish their views, aims, and their tendencies to meet this nursery tale of the specter of utopian socialism with a message from the pretender itself. What is Ulm's pretender's god's name? So, like, I haven't read this stuff before, and I'm pretty far into the game. Oh, where are you? Okay, the utopian socialism. So I'm guessing this is being played by Ernie. If I just had to throw a guess out there, and I'm not actually sure because I haven't diploed him yet. Here we go. Okay, a proclamation from Lanka. I'm like a really smart person. The Rapakta shall hereby known as the prophet of Belami, king of pretender. Oh wait, I'm sorry, king of... Okay, what is this? Oh, he profited somebody else. Rikatapa. So I think this is to get better reanimation. Yeah, he profited one of these guys, so they're reanimators. So if you get one Holy 3, they reanimate a little better. Not a bad idea. Like, if you make your scout a prophet, they can reanimate, but not terribly well. Though, if you just bite the bullet and get one of these guys, which you may not want to do turn 1, then you have a teleporting throne claimer with Cloud Trapeze. If you prophetize them too, you lose their upkeep. So in that way, you're kind of wasting the profit on a shitty guy because you're getting rid of the upkeep of a shitty guy. But it's a good way to get a reanimator turn 1, which could help with expansion, for sure. Okay, and so then we have an event. We lose 800 people, thank you. And then Shambler skin armor, we got that. That's actually kind of nice. Potentially could allow us to get into this lake system. I probably need poison resistance too. Think about that. Actually, probably can do that. Whatever tournament game I'm in right now. Probably just need a brand. Okay. So here we go. We're not expanding turn 2 with our second party. We're getting a pole mark. Now, in retrospect, I think this is probably a mistake. Probably better to get these guys, but I kind of wanted to spend cap turns on getting these because you're going to be limited into how many of these guys you can get, and they're kind of awesome. So anyway, I was like, well, let's go ahead and get this guy, and he can site search and lead armies and stuff later. Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and move these guys here. There's heavy cav, but not many, and we can deal with a few heavy cav, but this we're going to need to be pretty damn careful about. But I'd like to go ahead and close off, like somebody's over here, and I want to go ahead and lock in a bunch of my territories. So getting here would be kind of a high priority. I'm not sure where my second expansion party is going to go. Find out. But yeah, we're getting... the thing I think I want to do is have like one of my giant Locos or Polemark in front with a Gigante Hoplite as a bodyguard. And let those two kind of... I want these... Having these in the front line is really nice, because if there's really anything that like would be immune basically to these guys will poke it to death. while these guys are dying all around them. So, like, Heavy Cav is a good example of that, but potentially if I bump a player army, it can be good. Can also be really bad if I bump a player army, but... that is it for turn 3. Let's go ahead and pull up turn 4. Turn 4. We have a message from Satis. Strange words, speak envoy shall, small swebson... Oh my god. We're gonna see if we can translate this. Not to worry, we'll sell you a pill for that, made from crushed dreams and tears of slaves. Very effective. Helps with all sorts of ailments. Contact local cis vendor. For side effects, inquire local shaman or hedge witch. Okay. And then from Tirnanog, we have a message. How can I, that girl standing there, my attention fix on Roman or Russian or Spanish politics? Yet here's a traveled man that knows what he talks about, and there's a politician that has both read and thought. And maybe what they say is true of war and war's alarms. But oh that I were young again and held her in my arms. Okay, we have more Yeats quoting, and then we have a battle. Poetry and expansion. Who knew? Okay, so here we can see the Heavy Cav coming in. Okay, we lose a few guys to the charge. Notice how these guys aren't dying, but these guys are. That's due to that guy. Once they rout, it's easy. The problem with these guys, what makes them pretty tough, is they have pretty high defense. And if there's enough of them to form a line, it's their defense allowing their shield to proc, and the fact they have decent base protection. So it's kind of why they're pretty hard to kill. But with this guy, he doesn't really care if he hits a shield. He's going to cut them in half. And here, these guys are all surrounded, so they're in some deep, deep, deep shit. Okay, we lost 5, which, honestly, that's about the cost for expansion. We've got some Lion Tribe here. Lion Tribe are some of the worst tribe, I think. Because they're mostly naked, and then... Yeah, the fact there's also not a lot here means this is a kind of obvious expansion. I don't know, it looks kind of like a big province too. So hopefully it gives us a fair amount of income. I've been putting 6 PD in my provinces, so anyway, moving these guys here. We've got this expansion party coming down here. I'm kind of tinkering around with this, it may be a bad idea, but this is kind of what I'm trying now, is I'm having this pull mark with one guy on guard commander kind of run in at the front, and these guys fire and come in behind him, which means these guys are going to be alone in combat for, like, probably 3 turns. And they're pretty durable. I think it's unlikely they get killed, but this might be a little overzealous. In fact, I think it is, but we'll see how we do in this expansion. And I think that's going to be it for this episode, because we're at 20 minutes. So, anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed the series so far. I haven't been checking these out. I didn't check them out at the time. I hope you guys have been enjoying the series so far, and we will see you next episode.